So this story is about LAPD Senior Lead Officer Philip Ruiz. He's assigned to the mission division of the LAPD. And early in his career, when he was in an on-again, off-again relationship with a woman, he was frequently abusive towards her. In one incident, he dwelled up a past argument. His girlfriend said she did not want to talk about it, so Ruiz got pissed off and pulled her off the bed by her hair, and then she broke up with him. Shortly after, they reconciled and they attended a wedding together. During the reception, Ruiz made some wild comments. He said things to her like, "Bitch, why aren't you paying attention to me? And why the fuck are you looking in that direction? You'd rather be somewhere else, huh, bitch?" His girlfriend was upset and she had had it with him. She told him to take her home, and during the ride home, Ruiz started acting really paranoid because he thought they were going to break up. He even made her hold his hand the whole way home. As soon as they arrived at the home, his girlfriend quickly ran inside and locked the door so he couldn't come in. She refused to open the door, so Ruiz stood outside for approximately 20 minutes yelling stuff like, quote, "You fucking bitch, you fucking liar, you just want to go someplace else," unquote. At that point, the woman called her friends to come over. 40 minutes later, the friends arrived and they left to go to a party. As they pulled around the corner of the house, they observed that Ruiz was following them. He continued to follow them to the party. As soon as they got out of the car, he yelled something like, "I just want to talk to you." One of her friends responded by saying, "Can't you see she doesn't want to talk to you? Why don't you just leave her alone?" His girlfriend entered the party and Ruiz followed. He did not approach her, he just watched her. And on his way out, he grabbed the girlfriend by her hair and said, "See you fucking bitch." About 6 months later, Ruiz called her and left an annoying and sexually explicit message on her voicemail. The message included things like, quote, "Fuck you, you fucking bitch," unquote, and, quote, "You are a tramp and a whore," unquote. It also included, and I quote, "I hope you die," unquote. Soon after that, the woman was attending a concert with a person she recently began dating. When she was approaching the theater, Ruiz walked up to her and said, "I want to talk to you. I knew you were coming, bitch." Now, during the concert, Ruiz kept coming to her section and harassing her. At one point, Ruiz even approached her from behind and said, quote, "I just want to talk to you, you fucking bitch. It will just take 1 minute," unquote. When her boyfriend said to Ruiz, "Why don't you show some respect?" Ruiz said, "She was just at my house sucking my dick." Security became aware of the incident and told him that he had to get back to his seat, but he kept coming back to her again and again. At one point, the woman walked to the bathroom when Ruiz grabbed her by the waist, pulled her to the side, and began yelling, "I just want to talk to you, you tramp. Why are you here with another guy?" The woman tried to pull away when Ruiz grabbed her crotch and called her a, quote, "fucking hoe." 2 days after the concert, Ruiz sent multiple messages that included, quote, "I hope he fucks you in the ass," unquote, and, quote, "Go suck his dick," unquote. He then called her back and said, quote, "You are a fucking bitch. You're nothing but a whore. I hope your baby comes out with a disease and has 3 heads," unquote. The next month, the woman was in the lobby of her job when co-workers told her that there was an unknown man in her office. When she got there, she found Ruiz at her desk. He had let himself in the side door of the business without permission. When she asked what he was doing there, he said, "I came by to say hello and get one last hug." He just kept telling her he wanted one last hug, one last hug. After unsuccessfully trying to get him to leave, she finally broke down and gave him a hug. Shortly after, Ruiz called her and said, "I see that you have a 9 o'clock dinner reservation for 4 people at Tokyo Dells." She said that she had just made those reservations prior to Ruiz's visit and had left that information on a piece of paper on her desk. Ruiz said he was going to show up at the restaurant. She told him that if he continued stalking her, she was going to notify the LAPD. She ended up canceling her reservations, but Ruiz called her saying, "I'm here. There's only 1 hour before I see you. I'm here. I told you I was going to come." He went on to say, quote, "You should take me serious. I want you to fall right into my hands. I want to see you with him." Then Ruiz said, "I'm going to kill both of you, you and him, and you can write that down." When he called back, she told him that she was going to get a restraining order against him. And that's when he said, quote, "Go ahead and get one. I'll even give you a ride there," unquote. The next morning, she received messages from Ruiz saying, quote, "You're probably sucking his dick and he's probably giving you a kiss down there like I used to. You're probably on top of him, or he's on top of you where I once was, unquote. Ruiz went on to say, quote, he's probably even turning you around and getting it from behind. Then you'll probably finish and lay there together, naked, arm in arm, but wake up in a couple of hours and get busy again, unquote. He called back and left an additional message saying, quote, you never cease to amaze me. It's 2 o'clock. Let's see where you could be. You're either A, at blank's house in bed with him and probably fucking him, or B, in bed with your ringer off fucking him, or C, you're probably still out somewhere and you'll come home in an hour or two so you guys can fuck, unquote. That night, the woman received a phone call from Ruiz crying, lying in bed with his gun. He said, I feel really scared and I feel like I'm doing something stupid. The next day, Ruiz called the victim to tell her that she was, quote, a worthless whore and a fucking bitch, unquote. He went on to say that he would kill her before he would kill himself. A week later, she drove to a party, and when she parked, Ruiz arrived. He pulled his vehicle up in front of her, looked at her, and drove off. He returned 10 minutes later and asked her to come over to her vehicle so they could talk. And to avoid any problems, she agreed. When she approached him, Ruiz immediately said, what are you wearing? You look like a fucking tramp. As she turned to walk away, he took a toothpick from his mouth and threw it in her face. Ruiz then called her before Halloween and told her, quote, go unbury your kids out of their graves and put them in your front yard for Halloween, unquote. That was the final straw. That's when she filed complaints against Ruiz. The woman filed 36 complaints against Ruiz, and even though he denied most of the claims, all the complaints were sustained. He committed domestic violence by pulling her off the bed by her hair. He committed acts of harassment. He stalked her. When she began dating another man, he grabbed her by the arm and grabbed her by the crotch, which sure seems like a crime, yet he was allowed to keep his job as an LAPD officer. Why? Why? What does it take to get fired from the LAPD? Even more intriguing, how could he become a senior lead officer of the LAPD? A senior lead officer is sort of a miniature chief of the area and acts as a community liaison. Even the LAPD said he lied in his official investigation through his denials. But yet this officer has been allowed to arrest people and go take the stand at the trials and expects the jury to take his word. The juries are unaware of his history of dishonesty. The fact is, every defense attorney and every defendant in every case that he's ever worked deserves to know this information about Ruiz. Even more, the community deserves to know this information about Ruiz. To see more information on this case and to view officer profiles, please visit filmthepolicela.com.